Imagine this. You walk into work and hear the janitor chatting fluently in 9 different languages. Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, you name it, he speaks it. Now picture the CEO overhearing this secret and turning the entire office upside down. What happened next left every single employee stunned, and it might just change how you see the people around you forever. You missed the spot. Those words weren't said in English. They were whispered in flawless French, smooth and natural, as if from a Parisian local. What shocked everyone was that they came from Daniel, the quiet janitor who pushes mop through the glossy marble floors of Stratton Enterprises every night. Daniel was invisible to most of the staff. He wore the same faded blue uniform, carried the same old cart with squeaky wheels, and kept his head down. But what nobody knew was that behind his tired eyes lived a man with an extraordinary gift. On this particular day, while wiping down the glass conference table, Daniel overheard 2 foreign investors arguing in Mandarin Chinese. Without hesitation, he corrected their pronunciation of an English word, again in perfect Mandarin. The room went silent. "Wait, did you just speak Chinese?" one of the investors asked. Daniel froze, mop in hand, realizing his secret had slipped out. He nodded awkwardly and tried to laugh it off. But the seed of curiosity had already been planted. What nobody knew was that Daniel could fluently speak 9 languages, a skill he had never revealed because, in his eyes, who would care what a janitor could do? The whisper spread like wildfire. By lunchtime, half the office had heard about the janitor who spoke like a diplomat. Some dismissed it as an exaggeration. Others decided to test it out. "Hola, amigo," a sales associate called out as Daniel passed by. Without missing a beat, Daniel replied in Spanish, his accent so flawless it made the associate's jaw drop. Later, a German intern tried a few lines of Deutsch, and Daniel responded effortlessly, even throwing a joke that left the intern red-faced but impressed. That's when Richard Stratton, the CEO himself, got wind of it. Richard was a man who built his empire on spotting talent where others didn't. To him, hearing about a polyglot janitor wasn't just gossip. It was an opportunity. So, one evening, long after most employees had left, Richard purposely stayed behind. As he walked past the lobby, he heard Daniel humming softly in Italian, not just random words, but an old opera song sung perfectly. "Daniel," Richard said, startling him, "how many languages do you speak?" Daniel swallowed hard. "9, sir." "9." Richard leaned forward, disbelief in his eyes. "Name them." Daniel listed them off. English, Spanish, French, Mandarin, German, Russian, Italian, Arabic, and Japanese. Each word rolled off his tongue with ease. The CEO didn't say a word for a moment. He simply looked at Daniel the way a miner might look at a lump of earth hiding pure gold. The next morning, Daniel was summoned, not to clean the boardroom, but to sit inside it. The long table was lined with executives, and on the big screen, multiple international partners had joined via video conference. Daniel felt out of place, clutching his mop handle like a shield until Richard motioned for him to sit. "Today, you're not a janitor," Richard said firmly. "You're my translator." The meeting began. The first investor spoke rapid-fire Japanese. Daniel's nerves almost got the better of him. But once the words hit his ears, his brain shifted into gear. He translated flawlessly into English. Then came Arabic, full of formal greetings and layered meanings. Daniel translated every detail, tone intact. By the time he had switched between Russian and French, the entire boardroom was staring at him, not with pity but with awe. After the meeting, one of the investors laughed and said, "Richard, you didn't hire a janitor. You hired a United Nations delegate." The room erupted in chuckles, but Daniel sat speechless, unsure what to do with the praise. That day, something shifted. For the first time, Daniel wasn't seen as a man who mopped floors. He was seen as someone valuable, someone extraordinary. Later, over coffee in his private office, Richard asked, "Why were you mopping floors when you clearly have a gift?" Daniel hesitated, then told his story. He grew up poor in a small town. His mother cleaned houses, and his father worked long hours at a factory. But Daniel had a strange fascination with languages. He borrowed old books, listened to radio broadcasts in foreign tongues, and practiced with anyone who would talk to him. When he couldn't afford college, he worked odd jobs, but never gave up learning. At one point, he even dreamed of becoming a diplomat or a language professor, but bills needed paying and the janitor job was steady. "I never want to be seen as just a janitor," Daniel admitted quietly. "But life doesn't always care about what you want." Richard leaned back in his chair, studying him. For a man who valued hard work and loyalty, Daniel's story wasn't one of failure. It was one of resilience. "Daniel," Richard said, "what if I told you your life is about to change?" The next Monday, the office buzzed with unusual energy. Everyone expected the usual sight of Daniel pushing his cart, but instead, he walked in wearing a crisp suit and tie. At the company-wide meeting, Richard addressed the staff. "Many of you know Daniel as the janitor, but what you don't know is that he's a man of remarkable talent. Today, I'm proud to introduce him as our new Director of International Relations." The room exploded in gasps and applause. Some couldn't believe their eyes. Others cheered, thrilled to see the underdog rise. Daniel's hands trembled as he took the microphone. He thanked Richard and the team, promising to use his skills to bring the company closer to partners around the world. As he spoke, switching seamlessly from English to French to Mandarin in the same sentence, jaws dropped. People recorded on their phones, whispering in disbelief. The once invisible janitor was now the most talked-about man in the building. That day, Daniel's life transformed. He was no longer just a janitor. He was proof that hidden brilliance can exist in the most unexpected places. And as the applause thundered around him, one thought echoed in every employee's mind. Sometimes the greatest talent is hiding right in front of you. You just have to listen. If this story gave you chills, imagine how many more are out there waiting to be told. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next unbelievable twist. Trust me, the next story is even crazier. You won't miss it.